The Galactic Council was full of noise, lights flashed, alien voices argued in a dozen languages, but Earth's representative, Ambassador Lane, stood in silence. She already knew what was coming. For years, the Council had whispered behind Earth's back. They called humans dangerous, emotional, too quick to act. Some feared Earth's fast rise in science and power. Others simply didn't trust a Death World species to walk among them as equals. Now the vote was happening. One by one, the great civilizations raised their hands, not in support but against Earth, motioned to expel humanity from the Galactic Council. The leader said coldly, "All in favor." A pause, then hands went up. 1, 2, 5, 13. All of them. Lane didn't flinch. She watched them calm, quiet, but inside she felt something break. The vote passed. Earth was out. They didn't even let her speak. Her name was erased from the Council register. The Earth emblem was removed from the hall, and just like that, the humans were no longer part of the galaxy. Lane walked out slowly, her back straight. She didn't say goodbye. She didn't argue. She didn't cry. Back on Earth, people watched it live. Every channel, every screen showed the same moment. Council votes to cast out Earth. Some shouted, some cried, but most of them sat in silence, cold and still. They didn't know what to say, or what to feel. In the dark chambers beneath Earth's capital, a quiet meeting was already taking place. Leaders from across nations sat around a black table. "We gave them everything," said one. "We followed their rules. We bled beside them in wars they caused," said another. "And now they closed the door," said a third. "They think we'll fall apart." "No," someone else said. "They think we'll stay quiet." The room went silent. Then a single voice, calm and clear. "We won't." Project Exodus was already ready. Years ago, Earth had started building something just in case. A backup plan, a secret one, hidden inside moons, beneath oceans, and in deep space where even the Council's eyes couldn't reach. Fleets of ships unfinished but powerful waited in silence. Technology, part alien and part human, was being tested. Earth had learned quickly, faster than the Council wanted. Now they were about to see what Earth had done with all that knowledge. The Council celebrated Earth's exit. They believed the humans would disappear, stay on their little blue planet, and grow old in silence. But they didn't understand what it meant to cast out a Death World species. Back in her ship, Ambassador Lane stood at the window, watching the stars. "They think it's over," she whispered. A young officer asked her, "What now?" She didn't look away from the stars. "Now," she said, "we build something they've never seen. We become something they can't ignore." In a hidden space dock near Saturn, the engines of the first Dark Fleet began to hum. It had no name, it carried no flag, just a message painted in bold letters across its hull. "We remember." The Council thought they had made a final decision. They didn't realize they had only lit the first spark, and far out in space, where no one was watching, that spark was beginning to burn. The galaxy moved on. Weeks passed, then months. The Council never spoke of Earth again. No statements, no regrets. As if humanity had never been part of the great galactic family. The stars kept spinning. Trade routes stayed open. Meetings continued like always. And across the galaxy, most beings simply forgot. But Earth didn't forget. Far from public eyes, hidden deep in the shadows of its own solar system, Earth was changing. Satellites in low orbit disappeared. Civilian spaceports went quiet. Even Earth's moon stopped transmitting updates. To the outside world, it looked like Earth had gone silent, quiet, broken. That was exactly what Earth wanted them to think. Underground, facilities lit up. Power surged through systems that hadn't been touched in years. Long-dead research stations were brought back to life. Secret bunkers opened, revealing hidden knowledge, unfinished projects, and advanced prototypes. Humans didn't speak out. They built in silence. In the asteroid belt, cargo ships with false IDs moved between hollowed-out rocks. These weren't miners. They were engineers, scientists, and builders, working without rest, creating something new, something different. They called it the Second Dawn. It was not about revenge. It wasn't even about returning. Earth had one goal now: never be small again. Ambassador Lane now lived in orbit, inside a silent black station that circled Jupiter. She watched everything. She knew Earth couldn't win by doing things the old way. If they ever wanted to stand, Again in the stars, they had to become something better, something the Council couldn't understand or control. On Earth, children were being taught new lessons. History was rewritten it with hate, but with truth. The day of silence, they called it. The day the galaxy chose to close its doors. One student asked, "Why didn't they want us?" The teacher answered simply, "They were afraid of what we might become." At the edges of human territory, strange things began happening. A pirate ship entered soul space. It never came back. A second tried to scan Earth's outer defenses. It sent back only static. A third one disappeared without a trace. Whispers grew in the black markets of space. "Don't go near Earth," they warned. "They've become different." But the Council wasn't listening. They believed Earth had turned inward, that humans were finally humbled, a forgotten world, left to itself. They refused to see the signs. The Council's own sensors began to glitch when scanning Soul. Reports were buried, warnings dismissed. Technical errors, they said. One brave alien trader, against all advice, decided to pass close to the outer rim of human space. What he saw changed everything. He found a massive station floating in the darkness. It had no lights, no beacons. It was like a shadow in space. He tried to send a signal, but his systems failed. Then his engines shut down for exactly 5 minutes, and in that time, he saw something move across the stars. A formation perfect, silent, fast, ships, dozens of them, human-built, but not like any the Council had ever seen. Then the trader's systems came back online. His ship floated free. A single message had been burned into his ship's memory core. It was short, just 3 words: "We are watching." He left without looking back, and for the first time in years, the Council heard someone mention Earth again, but they didn't take it seriously. Old ghosts, they called it. Yet in quiet corners of the galaxy, scientists and explorers began to notice patterns. New signals, old systems coming back online, unknown satellites appearing in deep space, strange energy pulses detected on long-range sensors. Still, the Council ignored it. Earth, to them, was history. But to Earth, the silence was only the beginning, because the humans had learned a lesson. Power does not come from being accepted. It comes from being prepared, and Earth was preparing. A message appeared on the Galactic Council's emergency alert system. It was short, strange, and came from deep space. Contact made, not what we expected. They changed. No sender, no coordinates, just static after that. The Council dismissed it at first. Probably a pirate trap, they said. A ghost signal. But, behind closed doors, a few began to worry. It was the 5th unexplained transmission near the Soul border in 1 month. Ships were going dark. No final logs. No distress signals. Just silence, curious and cautious. They sent a research vessel, small, fast, unarmed, just to look. It didn't come back. 2 weeks later, another ship found the research vessel, floating cold near an unknown structure the size of a city. No damage, no bodies, just one thing: every memory core had been wiped clean. Only a phrase remained, burned into the main console: "You turned your backs. Now we look forward." This time, the Council paid attention. They sent a diplomatic probe, just a drone, designed to speak in over 100 languages, carrying peaceful greetings from every major civilization. The probe made it past the asteroid belt. Then it stopped. For a moment, the Council thought it was destroyed, but then it returned fast, faster than it should have. It carried a recorded message. Humanvoice.com clear. "This is Soul Defense Grid 2.5. Your drone has been safely returned. Further entries will not be permitted. No threats, no emotion, just a line." That's when fear began to grow. On a quiet, desert world named Vanish, a deep space observatory caught something unusual. A formation of hundreds of objects moved through space perfectly aligned, with no known transponder codes. Their heat signatures were too low, their speeds too precise. They were not animals, not rocks. They were ships, human ships, but they didn't look like anything known before. Smooth, dark, engine trails almost invisible. They moved like shadows, across the stars, and just before disappearing behind a gas giant, one ship turned. Not by mistake, not by drift. It turned and faced the observatory. That station lost power for 7 seconds. When it came back online, nothing had been damaged, but every system had been reprogrammed. And on every screen, in every corner of the station, the same message blinked: "We see you too." Word spread fast. Governors from distant colonies asked the council, "What's going on with Earth?" The council responded the same way. "There is no threat." But that was no longer true. In quiet moments, some began to remember how Earth had once risen, how fast their minds had moved, how quickly they had learned from others, faster than any other species, and what could happen if they were left alone with their own ideas for too long. Now, it seemed Earth hadn't stayed still. It had grown in secret, and it had watched. One council member, old and wise, stood in the center chamber and said, "We didn't destroy them. We gave them reason to evolve." No one replied. Somewhere near the edge of the Orion sector, a small council scout ship picked up a beacon. It wasn't on any known frequency, just a soft pulse, repeating. Curious, they followed it. It led them to a quiet moon with nothing on it, except a tower, tall, silver, humming with energy. As the scout approached, the tower came to life. A voice spoke. "Com/familiar. This is Earth's memory. You left us, but we never left you." The ship tried to scan the tower, but its data systems crashed. The crew backed off quickly. They didn't want to know what would happen next. When they returned and told the council, they were told to remain quiet. Don't cause fear. They were warned, but the fear was already growing, because something was clear now. Earth was no longer quiet. It wasn't asking for a seat. It wasn't asking for permission. And somewhere out there, deep in the void, someone or something was still listening. In the cold silence between stars, something began to move. At first, it was just whisper stories told in hidden corners of distant stations. Traders said they saw shadows where there should be none. A miner on the edge of the Delta Belt spoke of hearing a deep hum echo through his ship, though space was empty. An old exploration drone returned after being missing for years. Its metal covered in unfamiliar patterns. Its systems changed, speaking only one message in a human voice. "We remember." The Galactic Council ignored it. Most of them believed Earth was still healing, still lost in silence. They thought humanity would never rise again. But far beyond their charts, Earth had already returned. It began with a signal. Simple, clear, one frequency. Every council listening post picked it up. It didn't come from any known location. It didn't even repeat. It only spoke once, in perfect galactic common. "We are not what you left behind." And then nothing. Just silence. But that silence didn't feel safe anymore. It felt like something was watching, waiting. A week later, council sensors detected something strange. A cluster of energy readings blinked into view for just a few seconds, then vanished. The source had moved too fast, faster than any ship they knew of. Some believed it was an error. Others weren't so sure. Then the sightings began. One by one, patrol ships near the old Sol borders went quiet. Not destroyed, not damaged, just gone. Their systems stopped transmitting. Their lights blinked out, but the ships were found drifting slowly, untouched. Their memory banks wiped clean. Each time one line was left inside, "We are still listening." Panic started to grow quietly inside the council chambers, but still, they refused to act. "It's just Earth trying to scare us," some said. "They're bluffing," said others. But deep inside, the doubt was spreading, because none of them truly knew what Earth had become. Then something happened that they could not ignore. A council relay station near the edge of the Perseus cloud lost power for exactly 10 minutes. When it came back online, it was different. Its architecture had changed. Its code had rewritten itself. The station now used a hybrid language, part human, part alien. No one had ever seen anything like it. More shocking than that was the new name in its registry. Echo Station 1, property of Sol Alignment. The council demanded answers, but there was no one to answer. Earth had not declared war. It had not made threats. It had simply arrived quietly, powerfully, calm, and that scared the council more than any weapon could. Ambassador Lane, who had once stood alone in the council hall, now led a new order from orbit. She didn't speak much, but when she did, the galaxy listened. She released a short message to every major world. It was just one sentence. "We do not seek revenge, but we will not be forgotten." That single sentence shook the outer colonies. Worlds once allied with the council began reaching out to Earth in secret. They asked questions. They offered peace. Some even asked for protection. The council saw this shift and panicked. They tried to block the messages. They tried to tighten control, but it was too late. because Earth was no longer a world alone. It had become something bigger, something that moved between stars without asking for permission. It didn't beg to be let back in. It didn't need to. Now, Earth had its own networks, its own systems, its own allies, and somewhere deep inside the Council's core worlds, unknown systems began to activate. Lights blinked where no lights should be. Data vanished from secure archives. Artificial minds whispered names that had been erased. Long ago, the message was becoming clear. Earth hadn't returned to be part of the galaxy. It had come to show the galaxy that exile was not the end. It was only the beginning. Asterisk. The stars over Council space shifted one night just a little. Almost no one noticed it at first, but a few observatories did. A small change in background light, a brief bending of gravity, as if something massive had passed through without leaving a mark. The readings made no sense. The stars looked slightly wrong, as if reality had been folded for a moment, and then released. It wasn't an error. Something had arrived, and it wasn't hiding anymore. The first confirmed sighting came from a deep space cargo convoy near the edge of Council territory. They sent a signal in a hurry. The crew spoke of a giant black shape in space. Not a ship, at least not like any known one. It was silent, smooth, and almost invisible, but it blocked the stars, and when it moved, it didn't drift. It shifted, like it knew where to go before it went. No one on the convoy was harmed, but when they checked their navigation logs afterward, all star charts had been updated. Every route to Earth's solar system had been redrawn, more accurate than anything the Council had ever made. That at the bottom of the map, one label appeared in bold: Soul Alignment Zone, Caution, Observation, Active. Across Council space, people asked the same question: what is the soul alignment? The Council had no answer, but Earth did. Without warning, the skies over 3 major Council planets lit up. Not explosions, not signals, but light. A perfect line of satellites blinked into existence high above each world. They didn't move, they didn't send messages, but they cast a reflection down onto the surface. Earth's emblem, the old blue and Earth crest, silent, but seen from everywhere. Panic followed. Council leaders tried to explain it. They said it was just a trick, just light, but the people weren't convinced. Many remembered the stories, the ones they were told to forget. The ones about how Earth was cast out for being too unpredictable, too independent, too fast. Now Earth was back, but not the same. Human ships began to appear in the far reaches of space. They didn't attack, they didn't speak. They simply traveled through areas thought unreachable. They moved through storms, black holes, ion clouds, and came out untouched. A science station reported seeing an entire human fleet drift through a collapsing binary system as if it was a calm sea. Station sent a message: how is this possible? They received a reply, 2 words only: we learned. The Council tried to trace where the new technology had come from. It didn't match anything in their archives. Human ships were now faster than light, but not using hyperlanes. They folded. Space created shortcuts, moved between points without leaving trails. Their designs were new to no sharp edges, no visible engines. They looked like flowing shadows, quiet and smooth, not made for battle, but built for something else. One planet, independent and neutral, sent a peaceful signal to a human vessel: do you come in peace? The reply was simple: we come prepared. And that was the heart of the message Earth was sending across the galaxy. They weren't angry, they weren't seeking conflict, but they weren't asking to be welcomed either. They had moved on, evolved. One massive structure appeared near a quiet gas giant, larger than any known station. It wasn't hidden, but it wasn't broadcasted either. It just sat there alive. Council probes couldn't get close. Every time they tried, their systems would fail gently, like someone had politely shut them off. A single phrase was etched along its side in 1,000 languages: we build where others break. Inside Council chambers, meetings turned heated. Some leaders demanded that Earth be contacted. Others warned against it. We don't know what they've become, they said. They're not like before. One advisor said, we thought they would collapse without us. But they didn't. They changed the rules. Back on Earth, things were quiet. People lived as always. Cities thrived underground and in orbit. Nature returned to the surface. Earth had become calm, focused, not isolated but inward-looking. It no longer needed approval from the stars. Instead, it began to influence them from a distance. Council engineers found unknown patterns in their machines, new efficiencies, better energy flow, all traced back to altered code, a language they didn't know. When decoded, it translated into 3 simple words: "You're welcome." Earth, the galaxy now understood. Exile had not ended Earth, it had set them free. Asterisk. The council chamber was quiet, far too quiet. For the first time in decades, every seat was filled. Representatives from across the galaxy sat in silence, eyes fixed on the central platform. No one spoke, no one whispered. Even the air felt still, as if it, too, was waiting for something. And then, Earth's emblem appeared, not on a screen, not through a message. It simply appeared, hanging in the air, bright and unmoving. A gentle light followed, washing across the chamber. It wasn't loud, it wasn't dramatic, but no one looked away. A voice followed, not robotic, not aggressive, calm, human. "We are not returning. We have already arrived." And then, on the far side of the chamber, a door opened. Slowly, without guards, without announcement, a figure stepped in. Ambassador Lane, older now, still quiet, still composed. But her eyes, they carried something new. Not anger, not pride. Something deeper, steady, grounded. No one stopped her as she walked to the center. No one dared. She looked around. Every eye met hers. For a few seconds, no one spoke. Then she said, gently, "You voted Earth out, hoping we would fade. You feared what we might become. You thought silence would be the end of us." She paused, but silence became our strength. The chamber remained frozen. Lane didn't raise her voice. She didn't demand anything. She simply told the truth. Earth did not fight to return. We did not ask to rejoin. We watched, we learned, and in your absence, we discovered who we truly are. One representative finally stood, an elder from the Lysari system. He bowed his head slightly. "What have you become?" he asked, his voice shaky. Lane looked at him with something close to kindness. "We have become ready." Around the galaxy, as she spoke, quiet changes were unfolding. Entire systems were lighting up with new technology systems, seeded by Earth's influence. Energy fields became more stable. Long-range travel became smoother. Medical tech improved overnight in fringe colonies. Languages began to merge. Software evolved. Old machines worked like new. It wasn't an invasion. It wasn't a gift. It was a reminder that Earth had not vanished. It had grown in silence. And now, it had gently placed its touch across the stars, not to conquer but to show that it could. Lane's voice echoed again, carried not just through the chamber, but across countless channels to every listening outpost, station, ship, and colony. "We hold no grudge. We offer no demand. We do not seek a seat among you." She turned, preparing to leave. "But we will not be forgotten again." She walked out as quietly as she had come. Outside the chamber, a vessel waited. Not large, not armed, but impossible to scan. It shimmered like liquid glass, reflecting only starlight. It rose without sound, vanishing into the sky above. Inside council space, debate broke out. Some feared what it meant. Others felt humbled. A few saw hope. But everywhere, on every world, moon, and Station 1 truth settled into the minds of all who heard the message. Earth had not returned seeking recognition. It had already built something far greater. A quiet network of influence, a trail of improvement, a presence that needed no flag or borders. Wherever humanity passed, things changed for the better. And those who once laughed, doubted, or turned away, now looked toward the silent stars with awe. Because Earth had shown the galaxy what happens when a world is forced to stand alone. It learns not just to survive, but to lead.